Right, I'm just going to quickly show you this chart. Denmark is one of the best countries in the world for transparency and for publishing government data. They pretty much put it all out there. Everything is open to the public. They can see exactly what the government is spending, where the money's going, what's happening with crime statistics, who's committing the crimes, pretty much everything. They just put it out for open consumption. And we could 100% follow their example because in many cases we do the exact opposite. So Denmark have released stats, which I'll show you in just a sec, about who claims benefits in their country and who receives the most benefits in their country. And they've broken that down into sort of, I suppose, demographic groupings, if you like. And the groupings are Danish people, immigrants who are Western origin, descendants of immigrants who are Western origin, immigrants who are non-Western origin, and descendants of people who are non-Western origin. So let me get my head out of the way, and then you can see exactly what's going on in this chart. So if you can see up here, so on the left-hand side, you've got the people claiming benefits or receiving cash benefits in Denmark who are from Danish origin. Then the lowest column, so the lowest amount of receipt of benefits of any group, is immigrants who are Western origin. The next lowest after that is the descendants of immigrants of Western origin, although it's quite a big jump up. The next group then is people from non-Western origin, immigrants from non-Western origin, and the largest group, the biggest receipt, are descendants of people from non-Western origin. That poses an interesting question. Why do descendants of immigrants claim more benefits than the actual immigrants themselves? Well, I guess you could argue, typically speaking, it's because first-generation immigrants tend to want to try and make a better life for themselves and tend to want to go somewhere and try and work relatively hard, largely speaking. Certainly in Denmark, the Western immigrants who arrive in Denmark and go and live there claim very, very, very low levels of benefits and clearly just get off their asses and go to work, although their descendants then seem to maybe not quite be so hardworking and not quite so industrious and start to claim quite a lot of benefits. Danish people generally themselves claim, roughly speaking, just over twice as much benefits as other Western immigrants. If you look at over this side, as I say, over at the non-Western immigrants, that's quite a big column there. They claim quite a lot of benefits, and then their descendants get even worse and claim even more. So my point being, if that's the case in Denmark, and we are a very, very similar country, quite a similar culture to Denmark, would it be any different in the UK? We don't have these stats being published, I don't believe. I've never seen them. But you'd have to say that the likelihood is that it's going to be pretty damn similar. So the likelihood is that for immigrants coming into the UK, from wherever that might be in the world, if they're coming from other Western countries, whether that's USA, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, maybe other Western European countries, the likelihood is that they're going to be in this column over here and probably not claiming very many benefits. Once they've been here for a little while, their sons and daughters are probably going to move to this column here, the green one, and probably start to claim a few more. The immigrants that we've got coming in from the rest of the world, whether that's South America, whether it's Africa, whether it's Asia, the Middle East, Far East, whatever it might be, are probably likely to be in this column here. And then the second generation ones, the kids of those ones, are probably going to be the biggest claimants here. The likelihood is that that's true. We don't have those stats, but would it be particularly different? Probably not. Therefore, surely, doesn't it make sense that when you are giving permits and visas and work visas, and when you're issuing indefinite leave to remain and citizenship to people, that you pay some attention to that? Because I'm not saying you should be unfair and give some people citizenship and not give others, but surely there are ways to manage who you allow into the country in the first place and what effect that's likely to have on your welfare system, your economy, and your benefit system in the long run. And if it's the case in Denmark, the reality is it's probably going to be the case here as well. Have you seen these stats before? What do you think of them? Do you think they're a fair reflection of what's going on, not just in Denmark, but in other westernised countries, and particularly in Great Britain? And what are your thoughts on that?